Hello!
Hello!
Today I'm joined by my very special guest little buddy. My auntie's on holiday, so we're looking after him and his brothers, but his brothers are a bit older. And because he's a wee teeny tiny baby, we thought, why don't we bring him home, because he needs a wee bit extra care. You want to say hello?
He's a teeny tiny little baby, and he's so cute.
He's only here for the week, but he likes to sit in his little basket while I stream and record and stuff. But anyways, today is not all about Buddy, as much as I would like to make it that. My script book is all stuck together because a certain wee bunny pissed on it. We're approaching that time of year now where you wee teeny boppers are thinking about going off to uni or to college. Same rules kind of apply there, or some of you will go on to work, whatever you want to do, right? And being a recent graduate myself, and a soon-to-be postgraduate, I wanted to get pensive and reminiscent with yous about my time as an undergraduate student and see if I can offer you some sort of advice and maybe you can learn something for this old biddy. Or you can learn what not to do from me. I'll try to keep this as chill and positive as I can, despite uni really being a ball ache most of the time. Don't get me wrong, I loved my time at uni, but they really do. They really do just wind you up sometimes, to be honest. So I'll try and keep this as positive as possible. Maybe I'll do a future video about the flaws of university institutions and all that in the future. But for now, we're keeping it nice and happy and reminiscent and positive. Obviously, I did what course you're choosing to do. Some courses are 3 years, some are only 1 year, some are like 5 to 9 years, depending on how smart you are and what you're doing. So, obviously, take this and apply it to however many years you have. I've only done the four excruciatingly hard years. So my first bit of advice to all your first years is don't go uni. Change your path now. Leave this place, turn back, do not do it to yourself, right?
Leave this place!
Obviously, I'm joking. Congratulations on getting accepted to your course of choice. I barely made it through by the skin of my teeth when it came to joining uni. University is hard, right? Obviously, it's supposed to be, that's the whole point. But don't let that dishearten you, especially not in your first year. I am a completely different person from when I started first year as a wee, straight out of high school, 18-year-old. I also made it to uni by the skin of my teeth. I barely made the entry requirements, but good old archaeology were that desperate to take anybody that they let me write on in. I was so shy, not at all confident, did not have any confidence whatsoever. I was so worried about speaking to people and like trying to make myself fit in and like actually converse with people, because I've always really struggled with that on my own, and I was so worried because of that I'd end up a wee billy no mates. I feel like that's a big worry for everybody starting uni, especially if you're like me, not living in halls. I was lucky enough to go to the university in my home city. On top of that, Scottish students don't pay for their tuition, they only pay for all the other stuff like accommodation and that. But I was lucky enough and blessed enough and grateful enough to be able to stay at home with my parents and not have to pay for accommodation. So essentially I went to uni for free. That's not a flex, a lot of Scottish students do that. That's just the way our nation works. Obviously I had the advantage of knowing the city, and I didn't really know the uni area, but I know the city. I can get from A to B without running around like a headless chicken. But honestly, I applaud all of my classmates, and everybody who goes to uni comes from different countries, spends whole like heaps of money to be there and to learn, and you're on your Todd, you don't know anybody, you're stuck in halls with people who might not end up being your pals, they might be weird, they're not on the same course as you. I applaud yous, because I was in first year, I would never have been able to do that. I would have just been like, no, I can't do this, I need to go home. I would have actually like bowed out. So props to you guys. There's also a rumour that if you don't stay in halls you won't make pals. That is just a rumour. There's plenty of opportunities to make pals. I ended up with a good wee pal group by the end of first year. Mainly because I was so cripplingly shy that I was like, you're gonna have to speak to people. The way I got around that was I would go into the lecture hall, sit next to anybody, right? I didn't know anyone, or if I did know them, it was just by name, really match faces because they were in like the first year Facebook group or whatever. So I would just go in, sit next to people and just start talking, which sounds like, that's really easy and dumb, what the hell. Being as wee and shy as I was, that was a big thing for me. So I had to immediately put myself out of my comfort zone, and that's how I ended up making pals. Just sitting next to people, whether they wanted to talk to me or not, no matter how fleeting they were in the course, I sat next to them and I would speak to them. But there are plenty of other opportunities other than halls to make pals. If you join a club, you go up before class, you go after class, you go in class, at lunch, in the hallway, in the lavvy. On Facebook, if you find the name of someone, add them on Facebook. Force people to be your friend. Being very shy, it's a very epiphany moment for me, realising if you talk to people, they will talk back. And if they don't want to talk back, or if they don't like you, they just won't. You can easily figure out the vibe of someone who actually wants to talk to you and be your pal and someone who doesn't. Another thing to remember with that is all years in first year, the majority is in the same boat. You're all individuals on your own in a new place, learning a new thing. So just vibe with it, because the majority of people are also looking for friends the same way. So if you're the one to stick your hand out and offer friendship, people are going to accept and you're going to be alright. I was chatting away to anybody who was willing to listen, because it was just one of those things where you had to push yourself out there. As long as you're being yourself and you're being genuine and you're being nice, I think you're going to be fine. First and second year at my uni, you could pick courses outside of your school, if that makes sense. So I was history, classics and archaeology, but you could take, I took philosophy classes and all this other kind of stuff. So you could pick courses from all across the uni, potentially. I was even making pals across schools. Yes, I only had one class with them and I'd probably never see them again, but I still talk to some of them to this day. It's one of those things where if you just talk to people and make pals, and then you'll have that little bit extra comfort. In first year as well, they kind of expect you to fail. I mind in first year my personal tutor telling me that they treat first year as kind of an adjustment year. The change from schoolwork to university work is actually quite a big jump. So they treat first year as your kind of training wheels year, where you get a trial run at seeing how university is structured, how the classes are, the essays are structured, and how you're expected to respond to stuff, and what exams are like. So it's kind of, yes, your marks do kind of count, but it's also more of just a trial run for you to try out your first year, and then be like, actually this isn't quite for me, this is way more difficult than I expected, and leave. Or not. First year will seem really, really hard, especially because it's your first year in a new place with all new situations. But it's the easiest out of all 4 of your years, in terms of workload. So enjoy it. And enjoy your freshers, enjoy making new pals. Don't worry about tying yourself down to courses or people like that, because things change all throughout your 4 years, and it's just a big year of adjustments and getting used to things. Hello! Another thing I realised about first year is nobody is going to be holding your hand. That's quite obvious. I mean, everybody says, even in school, they're like, at university, they won't help you as much, they won't do this as much, it's going to be much more independent. It's like, it is, yeah, and you know that. But see, when you get to uni, you are left on your own in shark-infested waters, I tell you. Even the nicest of the professors that I've had, they do not care whether you do the work or not. Either you do it or you didn't. If you do it, great, they'll mark it, you'll get a mark. If you don't do the work, they'll say sound, give you a fail, and eventually kick you out of the uni if you fail enough. All of the work rests on your shoulders. All they do is issue the deadline and mark it if you hand it in. It's not like school when teachers are like, you have to do this, reminder and do this, are you going to start that, do you need help doing this? No. If you need help, email away and ask them, or turn up at their office and ask them. But other than that, you do not hear a dicky bird of them outside class, really. But that's the point, because you are officially an adult choosing to learn the subject that you've chosen. They expect you to want to be there enough to do the work yourself and motivate yourself, which is all well and good, but if you don't have that motivation and drive for yourself to do it, the work will never get done. And leaving it till the last minute is a god-awful decision, believe me, I've been there. First year is difficult. Nobody's holding your hand, everybody's running about like headless chickens, you don't even know who yous are, where yous are yet, it's a big deal, right? But just treat it as your trial run of uni. Take the time to adjust and get used to the workflow and the people around you. Take a deep breath, let yourself relax into it, give yourself plenty of time to adjust. Don't turn up to your first couple classes and then go, this isn't for me, I don't want to be here anymore. Give yourself the full year to really experience it, and then before you enter your second year, if you're still thinking, I don't want to be here, don't be. First year's the year that you need the most advice for, because you didn't care what you're doing. Once second year rolls around, you've had your trial run, you kinda know what to expect, and you kinda know what you're doing a little bit. My co-host for today, ladies and gentlemen. So by now you should pretty much know the score, and this is where things start to get more relaxed and consistent, and you start getting more familiar with the staff members too and your professors, and you just start getting used to everything, and everything's a bit easier because you've had that hectic first year trial run. Some staff members you'll find are absolutely lovely. They go to the ends of the earth, they really care about what they're teaching you, they give you the resources if you ask for them, and they're really actually helpful and want to help you learn, and they're really passionate about what they're doing. Some of them are only there because the university funds their research. These guys do not care a jot. Right, they will let you know very much that they are only there because They have to do minimum teaching requirements in order to get the uni funding. So they will not try. They do not care. They will not help you. Or if they do help, they act like it's the biggest bother on the earth. They're just rude. They're just downright rude. But you just have to suss out what ones are that for yourself in your own course. This is when I started to feel the most comfy in my routine as well. I kind of had a bit of a culture shock in first year, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to stay and do this. Like, all the new people and that. I didn't quite know my own personality either. I was emo in high school. At the end of high school, tried to kick the emo out because I was like, I have to be normal for uni. Then I got to uni and realised, oh my god, I'm surrounded by weirdos. I'm allowed to act like this. And hence, I've developed into what you see before you. The work does slowly and progressively get harder, but that's the point. After your first year of realising, oh, uni's going to expect a lot more of me, it just slowly builds up and up and up and up. Essays get longer, you need to have more sources and more details, you have to include this, that and the other. Sacrifice your firstborn. It gets pretty intense pretty quick. But even though the physical work gets harder, uni actually gets a bit easier in my opinion, because every year that goes by you get more and more practice and you know what to expect. You start to learn how certain markers mark your work, and you start to learn what they like and they don't like, and handling it gets easier basically, even though the workload is getting bigger and harder and more detailed. Another piece of advice I have for you in second year is start thinking of your dissertation topic now. If you're a 4-year course or a 3-year course, that is. I mind one of my pals said to me at the end of second year, oh, have you got your dissertation topic? Yeah, I've got this lined out and I'm going to use this and I've kind of got these topics, and I was like, are you psychotic? Like, why have you got that all planned out already? I can barely tell you what I'm going to have for tea tonight, never mind what I'm going to write my dissertation on in a year. But he was in the right boat, and I should have listened to him. Really should have listened to him. You don't have to think of the exact wording and the exact question you're going to answer. Just start thinking of rough topics that you've learned about that are going to interest you, what sources you could use and what evidence you're going to back it up with. Member of staff might end up being your supervisor if you were to pick a certain topic in that. Just start brainstorming. You don't have to start writing anything, because I did not even start thinking till third year. And I mean, you saw how that went, didn't you? Speaking of third year, that's when things start getting really specific and more serious and more specialised. You're no longer allowed to pick courses outside of your course topic in your school. Pretty much everything counts, so truly try your best. My third year unfortunately was kind of half cut short. My last day of class was on my 21st birthday, halfway through semester 2, because the weekend after that lockdown started. The first official lockdown hit, so I have not been back in the uni since. Please do some dissertation work in your third year. I left pretty much all of mine till fourth year other than the rough brainstorming bit of third year, so it was a bad thing. Do I feel robbed at the fact that I couldn't go into the uni for the last year and a half? Absolutely. I think that's mainly why I wanted to go back for my postgrad, because I wanted one more year to go in. Just like, I want a redo, please, thanking you. The third year was when I started to get interested on my Hadrian's Wall stuff, on my Constantinople stuff, which I have featured on the channel because it's two of my favourite stuff. I love all of the Roman Britain and interactions with the native British people and all that kind of jazz, in Constantinople, Byzantium, the Byzantine Empire. I love all that stuff. I love it. I love it. The YouTube channel was already up as well, but this is when I started getting really consistent with it as well in third year. Mainly because I had lockdown and absolutely nothing to do. But that's when my YouTube channel started to get really consistent, and my confidence really grew from that. So partly uni was building my independence and my confidence, but also YouTube was doing that as well. So I'm very grateful for that. The adjustment to online learning was weird. It wasn't difficult. I was in the year group that still had to do exams, online exams, even though we weren't allowed in the halls and stuff. So they were difficult, but they were also very good with the marks. But I mean, none of that really matters, because by the time you get into uni, most likely you'll be in the actual physical space, or they'll tell you how to do online exams. You just type up a Word document and then upload it to a Dropbox. It's easy as that. And then moving on to fourth year, the final furlong, the big finish. Oh my word, mine was completely online. Semester 1 was really rough. Not just because it was online learning, it's difficult to motivate yourself, but also personal stuff, uni staff that were just so horrible and not willing to help and completely misunderstanding. What else? Oh, my dog died. I think I've told you that already. Sparkle, who made a feature in quite a few videos, he died in first year. First semester of fourth year. But second semester really pulled it back. But also second semester was way more intense because of, obviously, my dissertation writing. I mean, you saw that palaver of me writing my dissertation in pretty much 10 days. Not my brightest idea, not my most shining moment, but it got me a 2-1. I still haven't looked at the marking scheme for that. I don't have the will to do it. I really don't. I got a C, that's all I need to know. I don't need to know the breakdown. I don't want to read the comments of my supervisor being like, I told you to do this and I told you to do that and you didn't because you're stupid and you should have done this and that's wrong. I'm not here for that. So my main advice is don't do that. Absolutely don't do that. Do not leave the biggest piece of work of your entire university career till 10 days before the deadline. Don't do that. It was very, very rough. It was rough indeed. But I did it. And now I have, as my father likes to say, letters after my name, but not a shilling to it. But I do as I say, not as I do on that one, because that was very, very rough. There was a lot of tears and a lot of panic and a lot of stress. And don't put yourself through that if you can avoid it. Actually do your work like a normal person and like space it out. Give yourself plenty of time and get it done. But hey ho! Other than that, uni's pretty fun. Despite my complaints and despite university institutions' obvious flaws, but that's kind of like all of them can be tarred with the same brush on that point. I loved my 4 years as an undergraduate at uni. And I'm very excited to move on and do my postgraduate. Looking back, of course, there's things I wish I did, like actually joining a club, but then I'm also kind of happy that I didn't bother because all my free time went into my YouTube and that anyway, so if I had a club maybe I wouldn't have time to actually do what I want to do. I've developed my own wee hobbies and clubs. Club for one. Me. And maybe this time next year I'll be coming back with what to expect for your postgraduate year. If I even make it, I might do the first month and then be like, oh, I need out. This is way too much, but you know, you never know until you get there. But thank you ever so much for watching. I hope I was able to give you some advice if you're a little bud in first year, or maybe if you're somewhere else along your journey, or college, the same thing applies. Exact same thing pretty much applies. Whatever you're doing, I hope I could have gave you at least a chuckle, if not a wee inside scoop, a wee bit of advice for a wee graduate old biddy. I say old biddy, I'm only 22. I feel old. I've got an old soul. I really do. I'm sat here in a flannel shirt, of course I feel old. If you do have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments, or any remarks or how you handled your first year at uni. Just talk to me, lads. Let me know your thoughts and feelings in the comments. If you're too shy, put it in the comments. You could always join the Discord. The link is in the description, as well as in the link tree. I also stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/re_streams. I've hit affiliate, by the way. She's an affiliate on my way partner next. So if you want some gaming fun, pop on over there. What else do I usually plug? All my other socials are in the links in the description box underneath me. You don't have to, but if you'd like to, they are there. And I do really hope that I could have eased the mind of some of you wee first years, because there probably was videos out like this when I was in first year, but I didn't go looking for them. I don't know what was going on with me in first year. I was weirdo. I'm weird. I'm a weirdo. I don't fit in, and I don't want to fit in. I always forget to ask you lot to subscribe at the end. Here yous go. Please subscribe. Thanking you very much. And me and Buddy, actually Buddy might not be here next Tuesday. Tatty bye for me and wee Buddy, and I shall see you next Tuesday. Enjoy your week, lads. I'll see you then.